The thing is, let me explain something. We paskin a chumrah. The Rav says it's only a chumrah. That the dover maimed. You know what the word dover maimed means? The one that holds up the schach. That means the schach is laying on the frame. Now, many often people have these frames, the metal. So the frame, the metal is makabel tumah. So you don't make schach. You don't make schach with dover makabel tumah. So it's a pasuk. But darshan, the pasuk darshan from how does it pasuk Yaakov that you darshan that you only take schach from the leftover of the grain, which is not makabel tumah. It's not a keli. So dover gdula mekarka has to grow. Has to grow and not makabel tumah. This doesn't grow. This is not gedula karka. So and it's makabel tumah, but it's not even gedula karka metal. So you cannot make schach with metal. It has to be wood. Like you notice, all the schach is bamboos or it's no. So now, but the mat has a problem. Has a metal. First of all, so the metal. Let's say since the metal you cannot make schach. So what's holding together the mat is the metal. That's called dover hamamed. That's called mam. Mam means it holds it up.
So the same reason we don't put the schach directly on metal.
Metal. So mamela. So that's why. But if you put wood on the frame, let's say most often people have a sukkah. The mat doesn't lie just plain. It has to lie in something. So the wood that's there is holding it up. Right. So why they want to? What difference? I don't understand. They held them.
I heard it's like this. If you take the davar mamid away,
Yeah.
then you just have bamboo pieces.
Right.
So if you're going to do it in line, parallel with the bamboo pieces, if you take away the davar mamid, it's going to fall down. So if you do it perpendicular, then you take away the thing that's mikabel tumah.
It's still going to stand.
It's still going to stand there.
It doesn't make a difference.
Very skinny strips, and if you want to do it, then if you take away the metal, it shouldn't fall down. Then
So
it has to lay on the wood underneath it, and then it's not going to fall down.
Yeah, that's normally how it lays. No.
So we're saying if it's done on the same people, and
If it's done parallel, it'll fall down if you take away the davar mamid.
So then it's no good. You mean?
yeah,
Correct. That's why.
That's
you
what
have
you
to
mean.
have it
That's what you mean. Okay.
could be, but the evidence is going to be okay.
Yeah, but that's just a chumra balma. The Rav says like the Mishabura makes it. It's interesting that it's because the Mishabura says nuchoin lahachmer. The whole thing that aduva mamed you not make a schach is a very very big chumra. It's based on a Mishnah, which the Mishnah says they made a schach on top of a bed. The bed boards. They used to have a bed. Imagine this would be a bed. That bed board's going all the way high. They made a schach. So the Gemara, the Tanakh says it's okay. The Rabbi says it's not okay. So Mechlek is why the Rabbi said it's not okay. One teretz of the Gemara is because it's dover hamamed. The one teretz of the Gemara has nothing to do with a mamed. The walls is a bed. It's makabel tumah. And one teretz of the Gemara has nothing to do with that. What I forgot the other teretz of the Gemara. What? The bed is makabel tumah. So maybe that's why it's no good. So first of all, Rav Rishon passing like the Rabbanon. We're passing like Rabbi Yehuda. The fill in Yehuda there's two tritzim the Gemara, and Mechlek is how we even according to Rabbi there's two tritzim the Gemara. So the Lashon Amishta Brida is nuchoin lahachmer. It's nucha means it's nice to be machmer. But anyways, but most often, you put this up, it's.
If a person wants to be machmer, if part of the schach is touching metal, but part of it's not, is that a problem?
Well, it depends if the metal would not be there, would it fall down or not? That's if the metal would not be there, it's going to fall down.
All the wood is on the metal. If you take the metal out, the whole thing is going to fall down. There's no debate about that.
If still the schach is laying on the metal, yeah, but I'm sorry, not the metal. If you take the wood out, yeah, I'm saying the wood.
Yes.
Yeah, well, the whole thing. So the wood is holding it up, not the metal.
Correct.
Then it's okay.
Then it's okay. Got it.
Right. And the Rav is makel that a mamad. That means if someone to be machmer even that if the schach is held up by a piece of wood and that piece of wood was knocked in with a nail, so that nail is makabel tumah. Yeah, but the Rav says clearly a mamad is not a problem. The who wanted to say there is a problem. He says it's not a problem.
A nail's makabel tumah.
Well, and it's not the question of Tumah, but it's you can't be make a schach with that. It's not just makabel tumah, just anything you can't make a schach. It's not gedum in a karka, so that's called the mama.
Many people here, they build the whole year. They have when they build a house, they make an outdoor area, and they have woods that lay like this. There is no 3 tvachim in between them.
Now, this is a famous question. Yeah, this is a very, very important question what you're asking. So we have many people. Let me repeat this question. Many people have this, and it's called a patio. It's called a patio, and they have it. And no. They have my daughter has it this way. Mamish this way. They have outside in the patio. They have a roof like the gazebo, and the gazebo has pieces of wood, and the wood is less than luvid. I mean, the luvid is according to Chaim is about 9 inches, about 9.5 inches. I forget how much it is, but it's less than that. So the question is, do we say luvid l'chumra or not? And the Rav says, like the Magavram, he said luvid l'chumra. You know what luvid l'chumra means? You know what luvid means?
That means basically it's makabel tumah.
It's not kabel tumah. It means not makabel tumah.
It's a binyan.
Yeah, the question is that it's closed. So now the Rav says there's an eitzah. The Shulchan Aruch says that you put it in between, put schach in between. But we want to put up a mat. So the Emesaran, there's a famous kasha on this chumrah of the Magen Avraham, because it says if you have a tree hanging on top, all you got to measure. It should not be tzelusa meriba chamusa. It should be chamusa meriba tzelusa. All the Chachamim ask, why doesn't mention luvid over there? It's not enough. If you have a tree hanging over your schach, the Gemara says, what should you check? Check if there's more sun, then what's his name? That's what I don't know.
The fact that you look at the shadow.
What do you look at there's more sun and shadow?
There's more shadow.
There's luvid. What happened to luvid? Someone else asked me, before I go on, Lava means that the 2 pieces of wood is connected.
Less than 3 tvachim.
Or anything is less than 3 tvachim is connected. So there's another question. I have someone in my shul who went to Florida, and they rented. They're very wealthy, so they rented for the whole family a huge place, a huge mansion. They're going to build a sukkah there, and the back. This is mid Florida, not the Miami Beach. A lot of fleas. So the person has in the backyard, it's a huge backyard, a net, special screen. Now he sent me a picture. You see, it's like you can't see it's just a screen. Oh, you see a screen, but there's more sun than the shade. Nothing to talk about. It's love it. Can they make a sukkah underneath it? Does it make a difference how high? No, to each other. To each other.
One string is within 3 tvachim of the other, so it's as if it's connected, so it's as if the whole thing is covered.
Yeah, it doesn't make a difference.
Within 3 tvachim.
So there's the Shlom Zalman brings a ritva. That this kasha bothered me, and I looked it up this year again because someone asked me. So the Shlom Zalman brings a ritva. The ritva says, when do you say love it? See, let me explain the case with the Shulchan Rav, the Gemara and the Magavram speaks. The guy wanted to make a sukkah inside the house. Many people have this inside the house, a sukkah. So what they do is they do in the time, nowadays we have the fancy, the wheels off, the whole thing. But those days they didn't have all these fancy things. So they took apart the roof. Imagine, it was easy to take apart the roof, and now they lived. So they took off the top of the roof, and they put schach, but they had these lats, it's called lats in English, next to each other. The slats. So the Mugavrum says that if it's in the 3 tvachim, it's a problem. Let's love it. So you should make the schach in between they took off the top, and all you have these small beams. So you say love it. So there's a ritva. The ritva says, when do you say love it? When I really want it to be closed. If I do something, see, the house was made to be closed. Those beams are made to be closed. You took off the top, but that's not the normal use all year round. All year round, you want it to be closed.
That's like
there. So there's a problem. But if I put up a screen in my backyard, I don't want it to be closed If I make a gazebo, I don't want it to be closed. The whole gazebo it should be open. People like to put the things on top. The whole idea of a gazebo is to be open. So the Ritva says you don't say luvet on that. So the Pshon is Alma held that it's okay. Now the Achronim today who claim, that maybe it's based on the Chumrah. Megavrum is only a Chumrah. The Rav also says it's a Chumrah.
The Rav is only talking about home.
Oh, I'm saying that's where the Ritva says only by home. But when you many people have this thing what you described, the gazebo. Many people have. Many people.
What do you mean you don't have water with gazebo? In other words,
You know how it works? The gazebo at the top.
yeah.
There's lats going. There's a small piece of wood.
Beams.
Small. I just saw it by someone's house today. You have, it's in the back, and they have a nice top, and they're small. Now, if in between,
It's like a lattice.
right. Now, in between is less than the sheet of Lovet, let's say, is a little less than 12 inches. Some hold it's a little, about 10 inches. It's less than. If it's less than that, the Halacha says that it means it's all one, and schach wouldn't help. So the question is, how could you say schach is not going to help?
Oh, I see. If the lattice is less than 3 tefachim, then it's like, it has the status of the solid roof.
Exactly.
Oh, I see.
And
So-
if you put branches in between,
If you put in branches in between, it's for sure good.
it is good.
That's for sure good. Most people
So
today
it
don't.
cancels the load.
Yeah, they cancel the Lovet.
But the problem with the mats is that we put the mats on top.
You put the mats on top. Yeah, there are people who put the thing, but the problem is that that's not the way to do it. They put the what's his name on top
Why is putting branches in between cancel the load?
because
It's
the Lovet it breaks the Lovet.
You don't see Lovet because the animals go through it.
Imagine this is
not the roof, right?
yeah this is wood. This is wood on top. Let's say this is schach.
Okay, so put
If
it
I put the schach in between, the Lovet there's no Lovet. There's schach here.
you cancel the load.
Canceling out.
Cancel out the Lovet. So if most often the space is more than the piece. I just was someone's house. This was about 1 1/3 inch. This was 2 inches wide. So if you put it in between the schach, then it's okay.
But if you put just a
A mat on top.
But if you put a mat, that's not going to be good enough. So by mat, you could be soimech on the ritva. And the ritva says you don't say luvid only when I want it to be close. If I build something, and the biggest raya is from the tree. The Gemara says you have a tree hanging on. All the Gemara says, just make sure. What is more sun the shade? What happened to love it?
So the person who had in Florida a big net, doesn't matter?
He could make a sukkah underneath it. Yeah, I don't know if they're going to do it because I told them that I looked around. Most of the early achronim all are mekel. Today you could search engines. I found from the early achronim Amish. They talk about it. I thought it was a new thing. No, all you do. I don't know how to do it. I asked someone to do it. Young people know how to do it. I asked someone to put in a search engine. Brought me Chuvas written by the Guinness Verudim, was a very early achron, and the Bata Moshe, one of the early achronim, about 350 years ago achronim. They talk about it. They used to do it also, mamish for this reason.
At this?
A screen is not a new thing. There's a Mishnah talks and a Hollis talks about screens. It's not a new thing, a screen.
Kila.
What is that?
Kila.
Kila, well, that's what's called modern Hebrew kila?
No, kila is like...
No, kila is something else. Kila is chasana, but how is it called a screen in Hebrew?
Also, the kila for against net.
No.
Potatoes is called the kila.
Yeah, the Mishnah Hollis talks mamish about you have a screen up top and how much the holes are. It talks about it, the mamish there.
Wow.
So they talk mamish about it, and they say they're very mekel. They're on no have a minute to be machmir. The Megavrom is like a tchala machmir. The Shulchan Aruch follows the Megavrom. So that the Chronim say is only because it's in the house.
Next question. They have today a pop-up sukkah. Look at this. You have a thing, you just take it out of the bag. It's a little bit more than 7.5 by 7.5 tvachim. The frame is made out of metal, but it's covered with material, but all of that is a keli. Can you put schach directly on that? That's putting it on a
I know. People have asked me this years ago. This patent of the pop-up sukkah is not such a great patent because the schach lies on the on the metal. All I told my son-in-law had this, and all I told him is to take 2 pieces of bamboo, to cross the other, and let they have a mat. That's where the Papa is sitting. No, put him out. Yeah. So when he went out with his wife and children. Well, we're now. I saw this, when you go Chalamayit.
It's not that the evidence it's okay.
Yeah, it's not like Elchonon. Yeah, but it's okay. But now you bring this up, is a person allowed to go, see, Holche Derochem, let's start this way. Someone is going in the derech, you spot him in a Sukka. Yeah, I'm saying Holche, guy's on the plane. Guy's on the plane, a guy flying home, many couples come for the first day, they'll fly home the second days. One of my children's coming the first days, flying home for the second days. Holche Derochem put him in a Sukka. So are you allowed to go to Disneyland or any of these silly places and say I'm Holche Derochem and I'll put them in a Sukka?
Today you can take a sukkah with you.
Yeah, but if you don't, Chabad puts up a Sukka, and Disneyland I once saw many years ago. Guy puts up, not for the from guys, puts up a Sukka. He was telling me years ago, I didn't put up for you guys, I put up to catch the but I'm saying, Lamaisa, there's no head to Holche Derochem if you're just going for teal.
You have to classify what exactly is Holche Derochem.
Yeah, so the Moshe has a tshuva and explains, brings Reis from the Shem. Holche Derochem means you're going for a tzorich, not just for fun. Person needs for panos, brings a Lushan Abraisa. See, the Braisa gives a moshel. The guy is going to collect his chayvus. Why did the Braisa just say you're going for fun? So Holche Derochem is only for the tzorich, a tzorich mitzvah, not just for the fun of it. I think this is important. You're not allowed to. You're not. It's not only. The question is not only the adult is not allowed to. You're not allowed to feed a child a boy that's 6 years old. You're not allowed to give him food. Chetz the sukkah. Many people don't know this. You have a 6-year-old. You don't have boys, girls. You do have 6-year-old. So you cannot give him food. Not you, not your wife, and he has to go into the sukkah. He wants to eat something that's chiv b'sukkah. He wants to eat anything more than a shir kazais, close to a beitza, a little bit more than a beitza. He wants to eat mezonos, cookies, a few cookies. He wants to eat. You cannot give him to eat.
Be careful not to have water outside.
Yeah, but if not a 6-year-old.
Right.
I'm talking about a 6-year-old. You can drink, but he can eat fruit, but he can't. Any other questions while we're here? Another important of it, yeah.
I heard that some time ago you had gone to a sukkah, a Lubavitch sukkah, and you found out it was pasta. Do you remember that? And you walked in this guy's sukkah and you said it was pasta. I'm just curious if that was so and what was pasta about, without mentioning anything.
I don't remember. Can't remember.
Some large rabbi on the other side of town.
Still doesn't help me.
Nah. You went into a big sukkah. You went into a sukkah and you said it was pasta.
Wasn't the rabbi's sukkah. It was the sukkah built by Sharat Tefillah.
What's the difference?
Yeah.
What's wrong with the sukkah?
The sukkah was not good. The walls. There was no sheet. It was the floor. See, that's a good mashal. You see the bottom of that mechitza over there. It has to be. If that's going to mechitza, you have to make sure there's a sheet less than 3 tefachim, and the wall was elevated. If that's the case, I walked into a sick. I think it was Sharat Tefillah, and I told the guy, it was so obvious. You understand? That passes the whole sukkah. You could have walls still.
Where did the wall start? More than.
It has to be less than 3 tvachim.
That's the start.
Yes.
Right. So according to the Chaim Nuah, less than 9 inches. According to Chazon Ish, less than 12 inches.
It doesn't have to go until the schach, but it
It has to start. I'm not sure there's 9 inches there. I'm not sure.
If you just had a string that would have gone around, that would have been okay also.
If he breaks the lovet, right? Yes, you could have a string.
It's a tight string.
Tight string,
Then
yes.
you have to put the schach in because the schach was
No.
No, you don't have to put the schach. No, because once there's a tefach on top made, that's good already. It's tefach. The Gemara says once you have a tefach, a wall, you put the schach, then the rabbi is asking that tasoloi min osi. If you have a part of a wall, it's already good. If that's the sukkah he's referring to.
The idea of using a string all the way around, if you start at 3 tefachim and just keep going 3 tefachim.
So you could have a sukkah made out of a lovid.
Yeah.
But the Mugavrum, and I think the rabbi.
I'm I'm saying, let's use these, like, the steel poles.
Okay, and what is the walls? What is the walls made out of? So that is not so leketchila, because the Megavrum says the walls works with lovid. That's not such a leketchila. The words works with lovid.
Cannot do that with a
No, but if you have it crisscross, what's called the lattice, that's okay because you have a lovid both ways. That's okay. If you only have a lovid one way, is a problem. But if it's crisscross, so you have a lovid both ways, then it's okay.
Yeah, I have a question. We have a sukkah frame like this. This is like the floor plan. And then one of this wall right here, I have open, but it's facing against another wall like this. But it's like a few, maybe 1 or 2 tefachim away. Is there a lavud in that, so that would be considered?
Tefachim away from what?
building.
Like this is like somebody, our next door neighbor's garage. So this is the wall of his garage. I have like a steel frame sukkah, so this is the frame here. So I'm having a wall here and a wall here. So can I use, as long as this is less than 3 tefachim, is that?
If the corner is less than 3 tefachim, then it's okay.
The corners here are less than 3 tefachim from the wall.
Then it's okay. That means if you have, let me just make this clear. It's very easy to make a mistake. So if you have you want to give me the sefer? What's the sefer? So if this is one wall and this is the other wall,
Yeah.
if it's less than 3 tefachim, then it's okay. The gap is closed.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. But if it's more than 3 tefachim, then it's no good.
And then this is what
3 tefachim, you could be soimech is current chazonish is a little less than 12 inches. The current Chaim Nu, I have to look it up. It's 20% land. What? Current chazonish, it's about 12 inches. It's a little less than a foot.
he likes big.
But the Reb Chaim Nu, it's 20% less. Who's quick at math? 20% less of 12 inches is it's about 9.5 inches. According to Reb Chaim Nu, it should be a drop less than 9.5 inches.
I'll ask you another question about mixing up Eruvin. If we have a wall, and instead of the wall going all the way to the end of the frame, by the corner there's a gap open. So if there would be an opening in the middle of the wall, as long as it's not 10 tefachim, 10 amas, it's an opening. But if it doesn't go all the way to the end, there's a lot more than 3 tefachim.
By Erev?
No, for the sukkah. That's why I'm.
So what? So the wall is this way,
Yes. And then I have on this side, I have a wall over here.
but you need at least two walls connected like this.
I need to have 2 walls. I have 2 walls. Yeah, I have 2 walls connected.
You do have 2 walls connected, so then that's okay.
Okay. You don't need it. But this is not considered a wall.
If it wouldn't be connected, it's not good. You have to have a sukkah has to have 2. It could be lovid, but you have to have here 2, and the third wall could be moved away. That's okay.
2 walls connected or 2?
2 walls. You need one corner to be connected like this.
That's it.
No.
And now we need another. No. One corner, and then we need a third wall. See, you could have a sukkah like this, and this wall could be right here.
Yeah.
As long as it's 12, less
As long as this is, it's a whole arichas godel to explain this. But if this normally 7 tefachim, it's okay. I was with someone's sukkah. He has this, mamish this, and then he has a wall over here. But I told this wall was a little less than 28 inches according to Chazon Ish, so we made it a little drop bigger. It's a kosher sukkah.
So 2.5 walls is the minimum.
Right, but you have to know this half a wall is extremely complicated. So if this little wall, if it's 28 inches, then it's good holidays. Once this wall is 28 inches, okay.
Once
And
it's not 28 inches.
then we go into a big.
and
It's very complicated.
It's touching there.
Doesn't have to be touching.
The 28
If it's not touching, you need luvet. It's a whole complicated. It's a whole
If you want
complicated.
to have 4 walls,
Hey, you don't need to. Yes,
I'm saying, if you
the
want-
minig is like a tchilla to have 4 walls. I just want to say, minig is not to be soimich haluvet and all these fancy tatum.
So I'm saying if you want to have 4 walls, as long as
You don't need. We don't need a
so
fourth
the walls
wall.
are 28 inches.
Yeah, but yes, 2 walls and. Any other question about the sukkah? You have a good sukkah? Okay. So another important thing is, many people have a sukkah. The sukkah wall is made out of yeriyos. How you say yeriyos? Sheets. And the canvas. That's a big machlekas. A huge machlekas.
Better to get the lattice. The lattice will.
That is better to get the lattice.
Even those sheets that you hang down, those canvas.
Yeah, let's say this is a sheet.
Right.
No, the canvas.
And the canvas is stronger than that. It's a huge machlekas. The Chazon Ish held it's okay. Not a problem. But many other made a big fuss about it. So I tell people it's okay, but the next generation after me likes chumras. So I tell them, no, if you want to be machmeh, then, but api halacha, it's okay. It's strong. Especially now, they sell these small sukkahs, they sell it with a pole in the middle. That's even better. So really the wind doesn't...
How much does it have to move in order to make it?
That's the famous question. That's the famous machlokes. Some hold it has to move 3 tvachim, which it never moves 3 tvachim.
No,
3 tvachim.
yeah,
It doesn't move 3 tvachim.
that much? Sure.
It's very wide.
Windy, you can go like that. It's
Yeah.
not put on tight.
Yeah, if it's put on tight. The sheets, but canvas does not move. No, canvas, I watched. Canvas is, doesn't move that much. It doesn't move that much. A canvas,
Not just one way, both ways.
yeah, but today, all these, the canvas sukkahs, they added a pole the last 10 years to avoid that chumrah. And that's okay, it's okay.
Is there a difference between Rabbanei and Eretz Yisrael?
That's a soul, they're much more machma.
Why?
They don't accept that.
They don't accept it, I heard that. That's so like chumras, I don't know why.
Except with the Americans.
Yeah, the Chazon Ish said it's good. Chazon Ish was very strong and he said it's good.
One of the walls, they have doors. The French doors that open.
Has to be closed when you're doing the sukkah. If that's the third wall. Yes, has to be closed. What happens when it opens? How much?
But there's parts of the wall in between.
So that's what I'm asking. How much is the wall in between?
Maybe 2 feet each. So 2 feet, door, 2 feet, door, 2 feet.
It has to be 28 inches.
The wall.
One combine both sides of both sides.
You know, but when it's open, it's open. They don't have it. He says they have these French doors. That means you have 2 walls like this, correct?
One big wall, we have in the middle, 2 doors.
And in the third, does the third wall have 28 inches? Does a 20? They have to be.
I don't understand. You have 2 walls, and this is the French doors?
One long wall, in the middle, you have 2 doors.
So you have this big door, this wall, and you have 2 doors like this. So that has to be open at least 28 inches. Closed, I mean 20 inches from the wall going out 28 inches.
Before the doors come.
Before the doors
You
come.
have this side of the doors and that side of the doors and be
Yes.
them?
No,
No.
it has to be 28 inches. You need 28 inches. Well, yes.
No, I'm asking if it's 14 and 14.
No, it's not good.
Why
You need because then you need luvet, and then you have to see it. You need it Sudas Pesach. You need a bunch of things to make it.
If you have
If
it,
you have it Sudas Pesach, it's a Sudas Pesach. The French doors is not a Sudas
it
Pesach.
doesn't go all the way to the top. You keep on telling.
What do you mean doesn't? No, but the whole door doesn't go to the top. It's French doors, so the whole thing folds.
No. Is there on top of it something fixed?
Yeah, I'm talking about this is the wall and this is the French doors. So when I fold the French doors, what's on top? The roof, the heaven. What?
There's a frame.
Ceiling over it.
Ceiling or a wall? Like over here, you see on top of it?
There's a frame. So when the French doors close, there's a frame on top. So then you have Tzuris Pesach. So then you need just 4 tvachim. You need about 16 inches wall. 16 inches wall. You have 16 inches thick from the wall, and then you have Tzuris Pesach. That makes it okay.
Because it has to start after 4 tvachim.
Tzuris Pesach. If once you have 4 tvachim wall, then you have Tzuris Pesach, then it'll be okay.
Anywhere across.
You send me a picture. I don't want to. I've learned already when I tell people about pear, and then I go look at it. It's a whole different world.
I have a question. I think we learned in Erevin that there are certain times when we allow a human wall.
The Mishnah by Sukka
Yeah.
says. Mishnah Lama is Sukka.
Also by Sukka. Oh, by Sukka. So
Sukkah. The Gemara Erevin brings the Mishnah in Sukka. So Mishnah
you could
Sukkah.
make, if you have the 7.5.
During the weekday, not Shabbos and Yom Tov, you could have a bunch of people surrounding you and making on.
It's not on their heads.
Well, the Gemara talks about there's schach on top, and there's a little coming down, or you have two walls, and the third wall is going to be.
And people.
Yeah.
People are good because they're from the ground and they're more than 10 fucking high.
Yeah.
So that's it. They can just stand.
Right.
They just have to stand in one place.
Right.
And I'm the lump and they that's fantastic.
What did you say? 10 tefachim, average person is 10 tefachim is. By me, it's a little less than the hips. Depends on the person. Okay. Any other question about a sukkah?
Oh, what did you say earlier about the spot? Like, we have these mats which are resting on top of the bamboo. You said that was.
It's okay.
Was there something?
Some they add that if it's resting, it should be resting in a way. If I take out the metal of the thing, it's going to fall down, and holding up is only the what's his name, the bamboo.
In other words, it should be less. Resting
That means resting on the bamboo,
resting on wood.
right on the wood.
Is that from the Chazon Ish, or?
No, that's nothing to do with the Chazon Ish. That's okay.
LA, every year in the middle of Sukkot, it becomes so windy for 1 or 2 days, and the schach goes moving around. So
You could tie it down. You could tie down the schach.
Okay, tie it tight or just tie it
Very tight.
tight? Okay.
But you could tie with do it. It's not makabel tumah. You could put a heavy 2x4s on top.
Okay.
A rope.
A rope. You have to get rope that's not makabel tumah. You have to get rope that's made out of weeds. You know, you could buy that in you could buy it in one of these.
Plastic.
You know, you buy these rope. Plastic is not good enough.
Plastic bag.
Plastic tie strips.
The reason why plastic is not good because it's dover hamamed. That means the plastic, you cannot make schach with plastic. So you're not allowed to hold down the schach with something that you cannot make schach.
But you can't hold it down.
See, the thing is that the schach has to be something that's not makabel tumah and grows from the ground. The schach has to be wood. Metal and plastic is not kosher for schach. So the Chazal say, like do not tie down the schach with plastic or metal because you might think I can make schach from plastic and metal.
That would puzzle it.
And you can't make schach from plastic and metal. It's not kosher.
No, I mean, what I'm doing is I'm
Tying down the schach.
tying the stock to the bamboo.
So I tell you what you should do. You could get in the store. I forgot how it's called. It's made out of reeds.
Cecil,
You know what? Hem. It's made for the fanciness, and that's what we did. We tied down the schach with hem. You know, they have these things. It's called hem. You know, you have these fancy baskets hanging from a rope that's made. It's very inexpensive. You get that in one of these stores, and you could tie down the schach with that. Still kosher, you used it. Just better. It's better.
how's it better? What's the...
You should go to do it.
Huh?
It's asking a very important question. How much of a chiyuv is like a tchila to? Let's say he tied it on with plastic. How much is his obligation not to change it? Come to the Mishnah Berurah, you have no obligation. You made it, it's good. Come to the Rav, he says, if you could change it, you should change it.
What's the question? Changing what?
At Dubra Mahmud. How much like a tchila? How much is your obligation? So the Mishnah Berurah says, I made the sukkah, it's okay. It's okay. The Rav is a little bit more machman. He says, if it's Yontav now, you could sit in the sukkah. If you can't change it, it's Yontav now. But his wording seems to say, from his words, that if you could change it, you should change it.
Well, anything I'm going to do from now going forward to make it more firm, I should use
The hem. Yeah, but he calls it hem. That's what he calls. That's what it's called, hem.
What's that?
It's reeds. It's reeds.
It's called marijuana.
You're using that for what?
What's it called?
For
Hemp
the
rope.
rope?
They used to make all the rope to say it was everything came from hemp.
H-A-M-P.
H-E-M-P.
It's the same thing as
Weed,
marijuana.
using it for what?
But I saw we have something else. We didn't get from marijuana. We got.
That's really, it's the same thing, but
It's the same thing. You know, I'm talking this. My wife is artistic, so you have these baskets and hang.
everything used to be made that way.
That's how it's made. Okay. That is rope.
It's just weed.
It's weed, and you can see it's weed.
You can't. Try it.
It's a different,
Get off.
I think it's a different strand.
Okay.
Totally different.
Any other question?
Paper.
Okay. So let's learn inside. See if you dalef. Kvar marni shemita. We said shemita leachol chiles arai. Karman shemita leachol chiles arai chitz the sukkah. You allowed to eat the chiles arai outside the sukkah. So he can explain in a minute. That's what he's going to explain. V'kama chiles arai. What is kebetza? Size of an egg. Size of an egg of mezonis. If you eat the size of an egg of mezonis, you're allowed to eat outside the chitz. She came there odam. No, if I want to eat I'm outside the sukkah and I want to take a nash. I'm allowed to take a nash the size of an egg nash. No, you can't. That's otherwise in a time frame, probably in the sitting what you're sitting there, and at one bracha. No, they don't pras. Nothing to do with pras.
You jump into your car, right? And you have a snack, and then you jump out of your car and you buy your friend's house or another.
You're going to have to make another bracha? No. If you had a mind to eat another piece, then you wouldn't need a bracha then. Zaynis. So you only can eat a kibetza. Shekein derech olitem pamach is mulapiv chitza beisoi. That's normal mulapiv he kibetza. Normal is a beitza. Shem beisabri machz goytzim a beitza. That's what Tosfos learns the Gemara. That normally people would take a nash, how much they could chew and swallow at once. So how much could they chew and swallow at once? The size of an egg. So anyways, that's what the Gemara explains. But once you ate, you cannot eat more than the size of an egg of a nash, of mezonis, talking about cookies. He says, med v'urim bepas, asim chemeshes minim, bread that's made from the 5 grains. Or betavshe shun chemeshes minim. Betavshe meaning to say, lakshan, pasta, pizza, aber shar minim mechula, ein tzurich loy minim peiris, fruit for sure, vel uchomen harbe, said a filler kveyelim sidusoy. Your whole lunch, teenagers love to do it. Whole lunch is going to be a bowl of cherries. You know what I mean? Sounds familiar, doesn't it? Yeah. Well, kveyelim sidusoy mit der lachen chitz sukkah. You allowed to fish kvies mine ili ein chashiva kachidus aral shapas. So if you eat anything besides bread, today you have these cornbread. What is it called? These round things that people. The rice cakes, you have from corn cakes, as some of my wife got, all these things. As long as it's not the chemeshes amina,
Eat whatever you want.
you can eat.
8 days you can eat without anything.
Mit
What's the
chemesh amina is wheat, barley, spelt, rye, and oats.
Even meats you're allowed to?
Meat, yes, you're allowed to eat meat outside the sukkah.
Meat is nothing. Bread. Meat is fun. It's a lift on it. It's a little spread of meat.
Now, mit the lishka is kalamashkin chitz the sukkah. You're allowed to drink everything, fill a yain, even wine. You're allowed to drink. For the shoysi yoysim revius, even more than revius. You would drink a glass of wine, you're allowed to. The chola machmer atzmoish outside the sukkah. So the halacha is you only have to eat in the sukkah if you eat the chameshes aminim more than a beitza. If you eat just the size of an egg, you can out it says that. V'chol machmer shalishta ischitz sukkah fil amayim reizim meshubach.
But he says call only for the drinking, not for.
Even drinking.
Even water.
Even water.
No, but only in this one.
No, even more so though.
No. That's for more so. No. That's more so. That's even more so.
More than a base of water?
No. If you're machmer not to drink anything, you're blessed. But doesn't make you obligation. I just want to explain to you something. Doesn't make you, I give you a motion, I give a sheet. I have a heart, when I'm talking, I lose my voice if I don't drink. I drink outside the sukkah. I give a daf yomi in the morning. I give 20 people. If I don't drink, I lose my voice. So it's a nice thing to mach. I don't drink only then. Otherwise, I go up to the sukkah and I drink a coffee. I'm explaining, if you're machmer, kala machmer, it's a great thing. But you're driving, you're going out with the family, you want to drink a Coke, it's perfectly okay.
We say it's in the shulach, right? Why?
Because you're showing, you're giving a hiddur in the mitzvah. You're showing the beauty of the mitzvah. I don't want to eat.
It's a contradiction. Like you're saying you're allowed to do, they say, okay, if you do.
No, look. I'll give you a marshal. You could have a car that drives. Yes, but many young people don't want just a car to drive. It has to be fully loaded. It needs this and it needs that and it needs that. It needs to be loaded. The tachlis of the car is to get you from place A to place B. But if I cannot put my iPhone into it and it doesn't have the screen, how's it called, the navigation, it's not updated car. So if I had a cute thing. Someone called me up, and he's a balbos, has money. He tells me that this mat that he bought must be 10, 15 years old. It hangs into the sukkah. How much is allowed to hang down? It should make puzzle. So it's kosher. Doesn't make a difference how much hanging down. Then after it's kosher. Then I want to ask him something. Would you wear such a pair of pants? So why is the mitzvah less than that? How much do you think it's going to cost the mat? I told him, $150. How much pants did you pay in the last 20 years? That's the nature of the Yetzer Hara. It comes to mitzvah, you don't want to pay much money. The Zohar says that it comes to mitzvahs, especially Yetzer Hara, not to pay money. The Rizal, when he went to buy a mitzvah, he would take out his money, and he would say, take how much money you need, he would say. Okay.
What's the difference between Reizim Shubach and Tauber L'Bracha? Sometimes in Halacha it says
Tauber L'Bracha is only when there's a machlokes apaskim. That's a good question. When do we say? Yeah, well, when there's a machlokes, and he says you don't have to do it, but you're blessed if you're machmer. Meshubach means here api halacha. The Mishnah says you're allowed to drink outside the sukkah. There's no machlokes. Everyone agrees. The Gemara says clearly you're allowed to drink outside. If Gamliel drank outside the sukkah, you don't just no. The Gemara says that Gamliel drank outside the sukkah. Psutik was it? He didn't. He drank outside the sukkah. Api halacha. There's no. Everyone agrees you're allowed to. It's a nice thing. You show the chshivas of the sukkah. You don't drink outside the sukkah. So it's just a nice thing to it shows that. So then he says, if he drinks derech aray. Avo im kveis atzma lishtes yain, sits down to drink wine, else kvies with his buddies, gets together to drink wine, or shar mashke derech ikvo elein, kamei dvash secher, gets down to, in the times of the Rav, it was called the Yiddish mad. I don't know how you say it in English. Med. In English it's called med too? A drink. This was honey wine. They would sit down. This was like trays like coffee. Sit down. We get some expensive coffee. We go to sit down. No. It shows where people get together. They don't get together to eat bread. You get together with friends. You don't get together to eat mezainis. No. That's a meal. Then you sit down for a meal. And the Chanama, many hold if you sit down with steak, all the Chronim too, but that was not the derech. The derech was in those days, even nowadays, you want to get together with your friends, let's meet in the Starbucks and let's take care of it.
It's not about the food, it's about the act.
But the kviyas of the
No, it's the kvias. It is the kvias. It shows the kvias.
So if you're having water with a bunch of friends,
You don't have one with a bunch of friends.
You don't. No, you don't.
if you're having mashke, here's
down to have water.
Mashke, yes. Mashke the same as shecher.
So if you're having mashke with a bunch of friends, you make a bracha.
Yes. Yes. If you sit not a bracha, you make a bracha sukkah. You're having a sukkah. The Rav says the best is not to make a bracha. There's some shittas that don't hold. But Meikar Adin, you have to go into the sukkah, he says Meikar Adin, you should make a
I'm
bracha.
asking about the bracha.
Yes, he holds Meikar Adin. Aval ain't tzurich relationship. See, that's a different thing. Aval. Later, he says, in the later end of Tesvav, he says, Lamaisa, don't make a bracha relationship. We're just sitting down to drink bekviyas. He says a separate reason why. some of them, if you,
Wine you do, but wine you do.
no, he says, look at page Shinyi Test, like the next page, the first paragraph. See the first paragraph, Shinyi Test page. He says, "Ve'im roitzelik vois atz v'sham nishtos yam shar mashkish derech vo'eleim min adin tzurich v'urich she'us lishtos echitz sukkah. Mekol mekom fi sheyesh mefakpe b'mal bruch hazi, if there's such a kvias on wine, chenuch alu shloik vois atz v'shtir, right b'sika, shoich b'im b'berich leshi b'sika." Says that if you're getting together in a sukkah to drink, don't make a
Don't drink unless you already made a bracha.
unless you made a bracha. Yeah, you ate, you made a bracha already, because the Rav, let me explain, the Rav is a big chiddush. We'll see that he holds, if I make him in the morning, relationship basiku, in the sukkah, it goes for the whole day, till the next meal. Even if I went to work for 2 hours, 3 hours, that's it, not a big machloek, is all the chanim disagree vehemently with the Rav with this. The Rav held, if I make a bracha relationship sick in the morning, normally if you take off your talis for 2-3 hours, you don't have to make a new bracha. But he holds by sukkah. If I made a bracha now in the morning, and Elisha ate breakfast, now when you go to work, coming back 4 hours later, you come back into the sukkah, the same sukkah, you have to make a bracha. But only if you're going to eat. But if you're not going to eat, you don't have to make a bracha. If I don't want to eat, I want to just drink something. Other Chronim held, if you left the sukkah like for 2 hours, if you come back, no matter what you do, you have to make a new bracha.
If I made a relation sukkah by me and I'm going now to you, we'll make a new
The
bracha
Rav says you have to make a new bracha.
for every new sukkah.
Yeah, the Rav's shit is that even this same courtyard, you have one sukkah, you make, many people go sukkah hopping. Yeah, the teenagers like to go sukkah hopping. And it doesn't help Kavanah. The Rav, the other Chaim disagree. The Rav holds Kavanah does not help. So if you are make a bracha sukkah, relationship sukkah, your sukkah, then you're going to your friend's sukkah, and you're going to eat there. You're going to eat their bread. Eat their sheik v'yisud. You have to make a bracha.
So it's not an issue of Hesach.
No, even though you had a mind, he holds the alicha itself is called the Hesach Hadas.
But that's just the Rav.
Just the Rav.
But
Others
by
disagree.
By washing, if I want to wash here on Shabbos and then go home and finish my meal,
You're allowed to.
that halakha
It's not a Hesach Hadas. That's why many Achronim, this is a kasha, which the Rav is not his shit, it's the Mugavrom. Many ask on the Mugavrom, and many argue on the Mugavrom. Rav Achronim argue on this Mugavrom for this reason. Yeah, you hear this question. If I eat here and I have a mind to go to Sheva Brachas, I don't have to make a new bracha then.
You don't have to make a new lay shave?
No, but Leishiv you do. Why is Leishiv
In other
different?
words, no bracha.
No bracha on the food. So why is Leishiv? Yes, you just been. And Bechlal, the Chronim even ask a stronger kasha. There's no my sukkah. There's no. See, if you wear talis, it's a new mitzvah. There's a mitzvah to eat that you're obligated to eat in the sukkah. So it doesn't. It's because I made a bracha mine. I have to eat. Anyways, but the Rav doesn't pass in that way. He says you change a sukkah, you have to make a bracha. If you're going to eat there. If you're going to eat there.
Which is a
The Mezainis.
Why do we have to have two kazesim to make the bracha? I've always learned that when you walk into a sukkah, to make the bracha of Rishon to sukkah, you have to have two kazesim.
Well, the two Kazaisim is approximate
If you
Zabeya.
have one kazais, it's not, you don't make
Yeah.
the bracha.
Yeah,
That's what you have.
That's the Shibetza, but that is, we're going to get, if we have time, let me explain something, but I'm not sure we're going to have time. Let me explain something. The Gemara says, it's something that always bothers me. The Gemara says that the first night of Sukkah, you have to eat in the Sukkah, Menatoida, just like you have to eat Gzayis Matzah, same way the Sukkah, you have to have Gzayis in the Sukkah. Yeah, but Rabbi says 14 meals, but we paskin that the first meal, we don't paskin Rabbi we paskin the first meal is obligated, we learn Gzayis Shuvah, Tes, Vuv. The obligated meal. That means if you, the rest of sukkahs, don't want to wash, and you don't have to eat in the sukkah.
That's if you're not going to eat mazonis.
Yeah, if you're not going to eat mazonis. So Toisa asks the kasha, a very famous kasha Toisa asks. Toisa asks the kasha, all the Rishonim ask, The Gemara says, let me repeat the Gemara. The Gemara says, the first night you're obligated to eat in the Sukkah. Why are you obligated in the Sukkah? Because we learn Gzeira Shava. Then Toy says the kasha, that means the rest of Sukkahs I don't have to eat. I could eat, rice cakes and rice checks, and I don't have, I could get away with it. Soy. But we learn if your person eats Yontim, forgot Yala v'Yovoy, he has to bench again. Do you know why? Because you have to eat bread. So Toy says the kasha, we just learned in the Mishnah, you don't have to eat. That's the famous kasha Tosis has. So Tosis makes an afkamina that how much you have to eat. Tosis says that to eat at Suda Shabbos Yontiv, it's either a kazayas or the less than a beitza drop. That's the way. But eating in the sukkah, you have to more than a beitza. Tosis held that the first night you have to eat more than a beitza. That's the Gzeira Sukkah. That means even though kazai is matzah, but sukkah only demands when there's more than a beitza. So mamela, you are obligated to eat more than a beitza. Now, let me explain this. Yeah, I hope we never, Baruch Hashem, it doesn't rain by us. In New York, it rains all the time. So I told someone, there's a famous Tzemach Tzedek which the Litvish word quotes. The Litvish Shabbat quotes it. Tzemach Tzedek quotes his grandfather, the Tanya. So the guy, the Gemara says if a person had a wet dream at Yom Kippur night, the Gemara says that it's a terrible sign. Terrible, terrible sign that, he's not going to live that year. So the Tzemach Tzedek says that his grandfather, the Tanya, used to laugh when people are nervous. You think you're so holy that the Gemara says the Rabbi wants to show, I don't need you. I don't need you. It means if you had a wet dream, that means I don't need your fasting. The heck with you, sort of to say. So he said, you think you're so holy that yours came into the room of Hashem and to be kicked out. You don't even get in. He says he said that most people who do have a wet dream has to do because they're young and the mind is thinks about girls and women. But it's nothing to worry about. Don't lose sleep over it. You know about this Tzemach Tzedek? Famous Tzemach Tzedek. You know about it? It's very good.
You used to leave the back door of the mikvah open? That?
Yes, that's true.
On Yom Kippur?
On Yom Kippur, yeah. Because even though you're keeping out of bed yourself, but if a person had a wet dream and he's so agitated, and I have on Yom Kippur. It's only I only tell people. People have asked me 2 years ago. I had someone. And he came to me and he was just beside himself. He just couldn't calm down.
Going to hell.
I read this year in the Mavzor that when you finish davening for kapitel it's connected that. But also when I said not to eat
Sure, right? Yeah, but if it does happen, it doesn't mean you're so holy that Hashem says kick you out. You never got in. So the same thing the Gemara says if it rains the first night, Sukkah, is the Gemara says it gives a marshal. It's a servant is giving a glass of wine, and the balabas, the king, takes the glass of wine and throws it into his face. I don't want you here. And we're coming Sukkah to sit in the Sukkah. So I remember I was a young boy. I used to look. It's raining in New York. Then I got a little older. I was learning the Aruch HaShulchan. Then I see the Rishonim say that. It's not his Torah. That's only when it does. In Etzor, it's not supposed to rain yet. But in New York, it rains all the time. It doesn't apply. It rains all the time. Here, it's not. 2 years ago was it? I think 3 years ago was it rained the first night? It's okay. That's not a good sign. Not here. It's not supposed to rain. It rained. That's not a good sign for us. But if it rains in New York, it rains all the time. And New Yorkers, I don't know. It rains in Brazil. It rains like New York all the time. So it's.
You still have to wash meat.
Well, that's a huge machlokes. We paskin, meikradin. I know Chabad doesn't do that. That's machlokes of Rishonim. So again, the machlokes of Rishonim explain this. The first gezai is that the Torah demanded you have in the sukkah. So there's two shittas. One shitta says it doesn't make a difference. Rain, not rain. Just like the Seder, you have to eat the gezai's matzah no matter what. You must eat the gezai's matzah, the kabeya or the even a gezai's. Those you don't need a beitza. That shit those even a gezai's. But yeah, it's a gebeitza. The Rabbi brings gebeitza. That's a whole separate issue. But you have to eat them. If it rains, pours, you're mechuyev to eat. And you're yoitza, the first gezai, the rest you're not yoitza. Other Rishonim learn, no, that's not that if it rains, you take a potter. Because all the Torah said to you that the rest of sukkahs, if you want to eat rice cake, or if you want to get away with it, you can get away with it. Here the Torah says the first night you must eat in a sukkah, but you must eat in a sukkah with the rules of sukkah. And if it rains, you put them in a sukkah, so you're not yoitza. So me'ikar adin, when it rains, you eat in the sukkah, you're not yoitza in the sukkah, according to that shit, the second shitta. Yeah, the first machlekes, the Rishonim, the first shitta holds, the Toisa, I think it's Toisa. Toisa holds that you are yoitza, that not yoitza, that's the chiyuv. That means there's a chiyuv the first night.
So how do you fulfill your chiyuv the second night?
No, the first night, going to second shitta, that's why, besides, I knew of a Chabad Chassid who was lived next to me in Williamsburg. He was from the Malochim, he was a big Yerushalayim. And he said, even though Chabad doesn't wait, but he saw his father was a big Chabad and he used to wait. The Shulchan Aruch Mishtachronim say, you wait till Chatzos. That to be Yoitza, the second shitta.
Wait till Chatzos until the
It'll stop raining.
It'll stop raining.
Okay, and if not?
Because then you can eat mamunashech, because the gezayis matzah you cannot eat after chatzos. So the gezayis sukkah also you cannot eat as not after chatzos. The mother learns a gezeres shova. The mother says just like there's a mitzvah gezayis matzah at night, there's a gezayis to eat in the sukkah. So if a second opinion holds, you have to eat in the sukkah, that you have to wait. But the Rav says Meikar didn't pass in the first shitta. But the people are Yerushalayim. It's a mitzvah sadaraisa. According to the second shitta, we're not yotzei the mitzvah. So the second shitta, if it rained, you ate in the sukkah, it was raining, we're not yotzei the mitzvah. So they did for nothing. So they would wait. So others have another eitzah. Don't wait, eat, leave over gazayis, and eat and wait then. That's others hold. Now there's another eitzah, which the Rav is missing this sif of the Shulchan Aruch. There's a big machlokes at Rishonim. If I made the sukkah, finished sukkah, and I put on it what do you call it in Yiddish, a shlak? How do you say in English? I don't know. You know what a shlak is? Awning, a tarp. In Yiddish we call it a shlak. But anyways, so the question is, if once I made a sukkah, the machlokes that remain tam under Rishonim, Rashi holds, if I put a tarp on it, it's possible. Finish. It's no good. You're not sitting on the schach. There's tarp on top. The main tam held, once it's a sukkah, even though I put a tarp on it, so the poskim say that it's raining. We used to do it in New York. Put a tarp. Many hold that Chazonish held if you put mamish like a roof on top, there's nothing to it. Many people had this fancy shlak where it wasn't just a how's it called? It was a Burpak shlak, a fancy Hungarian shlak. It was they couldn't make electric. They used to wheel it, and it was like a roof that came down. So the Chazon Ish says that for sure you're not yotzei. But if you put a plastic like an awning, so he held, but it has to be touched. The problem with the awnings many people have, it doesn't touch. Shouldn't be 3 tvachim. Should touch the schach. Touch. If it's 3 tvachim above, the Charim say it's no good. So if it's raining, you put up a tarp. So according to the Bein Tam yotzei.
It's better than eating inside.
It's better than eating inside. That's gonna be good.
Practically speaking, like people do that?
Yes, people do it. I did it. 3 years ago it was raining.
Growing up in New York, and we just sat.
We sat in the rain. We sit in the rain.
Yeah, well,
I used to call the sun stop, even stop.
it's only Chabad does it.
Only Chabad.
Only Chabad.
So you could put, people would just put on it.
Yes, I did it 3 years ago. It was raining. I think it was 3 years ago.
What about plastic, the issue with plastic on your stop? Is that an issue?
Yeah, but if it's raining, I would just rolled up the plastic. That's what I
You
did.
said before it was like an issue of tying down.
It shouldn't. No, yeah, that on the schach itself.
That would come into play.
That wouldn't come play. Once it's done, the main time shit is you can put it on top.
So you could leave it there when it's not raining either.
No, but the other Rishonim disagree. Rasha disagrees vehemently. Rasha says, so instead of eating it, it's raining anyway, so why go inside?
So what's Rabbi Tam's shita?
He holds that since the sukkah is made already, so the shlak that you put up is like a tuffel to the schach.
So is there a kosher here?
It's kosher, he holds.
Why isn't Chabad
No, Shabbat are kosher, that it was a kosher sukkah.
Right, once it's a kosher sukkah. Why? I don't know.
Why don't we
I don't know.
No, but you're saying Rabbeinu,
Al Chabad, you have to ask the rabbi. I have no idea.
Because we pass like the sheep that you have to eat in the rain.
No, but not after the first night nap.
After the first night, you're not mechoyim. There's nothing wrong with eating it.
Yeah, but most Rishonim hold that you're not yoitza. Can't make a bracha. Even though Chabad does make a bracha, when the Rov Rishonim hold, you're not allowed to make a bracha. In the rain.
Because we're not inspired. We're educated that way.
Yeah,
We're very happy. We say when it rains, we're the only ones in the sukkah. We're very
When
excited.
you go into Halacha, the flatbush in the rain, you can do anything in the rain.
We're not more excited. It's bigger mitzvah. Get
you
excited.
say Rabbeinu Tom says that once you have schach, it's schach. If you put something right on top of it, it's okay. That if you know it's going to rain before Yom Tov, you can put.
Going to the main time, you can put it up.
Like what's it like? Does the sukkah have to be a din sukkah?
No, no. There is one shit that the Mata Ephraim wants to say this Chiddush. Mata Ephraim wants.
Therefore, you'd have to put the plastic after Yom Tov.
After Yom Tov. He says the Mata Ephraim, but most of them don't hold that way. No. But only Chabad. I was just going to say, for the record, only Chabad. If it rains, we paskin in Shulchan Aruch, you're not allowed to make a bracha. Theoretically speaking, the Chassidim said they enjoy that it doesn't bother them the rain. Yeah, once upon a time Chassidim. That's once upon a time Chassidim used to have an hour and a half shachris. But nowadays, if the shachar takes 20 minutes, then it's hard for me to believe. Yes. If you enjoy it, you're right.
We're educated that way. We're educated. I'm saying this thing in the Chinuch that doesn't, if it rains, even better. Even not trying to get it. Even
I
better.
don't know if I can say enjoyed it, but it was just, the bees were just as bad as the rain.
Yeah, it'll make a difference.
What about an umbrella? You can't hold an umbrella.
Umbrella is a separate issue. Yom Tov and Shabbos. Chalamoid, you mean? But it has to be on top of the schach, close to the chach shemibato the schach. If it's elevated 3 tefachim, or that way it's not good.
You put the umbrella close to the schach beneath it.
Yeah, if you could aim it that way. So another person today, everything was a picture. A lady sent me a picture from Beverly Hills. She's came from Eretz Yisrael, and her father decorated. He's not a from person, and not sure, but he made it for them. Got someone to make a sukkah, and the noise sukkah is like he was gonna spend money. Money is not a problem. So the way I asked her afterwards, and I looked at the pictures. As long as it's less than 4 tefachim from the roof, then it's okay.
What's 4 tefachim?
The noise sukkah.
The ornament that's hanging down.
The ornament.
But just that area, huh?
No, once it starts, I thought the hook could even hang lower. That means if the noise sukkah, she has a huge ball I see in the picture. But as long as I couldn't tell how close it was, I said as long as the ball is less than 4 tefachim from the schach, then it's okay.
If it goes lower.
Then it's okay.
No, then it's not good.
It's okay. Starts from there, then becomes bottled to the schach.
If it starts within 4 tefachim,
Yeah.
if the top is less than 4 tefachim,
Then it's a problem. But he wants to know what happens. It's a huge ball hanging down. The top is stuck less than 4 tefachim, but as the ball, then it's okay.
Then it's like a cover.
yeah.
Like the
It's a
umbrella.
new- it's a new-
Yeah.
it's like a-
But we paskin noise sukkah is bottled to the schach.
Once it starts lower than 4
That's a problem.
That's a problem. Under that area only?
Only under that area.
So if that's over the table,
Right, like if people have a chandelier hanging over the table, that's not a
the
problem.
chandelier doesn't start, the chain starts.
Yeah, but the chain is not a decorative thing. It's not decorating. What?
It doesn't matter.
Depends on which Hungarian you're talking
If you put
about.
the chandelier, it doesn't matter because it's over the table. Nobody's sitting under the table.
That's what he just said.
Oh.
That's exactly what he just said.
I give it to you then.
Are we going to speak about trees? Because, like, trees hanging over the...
That's a big one we mentioned before. If a tree hanging, you have to make sure there should be more cham, has to be more sun than the shade.
in that area itself.
That area.
In other words, and if there's more shade than that, so that area
It's no good.
is not good.
And it's very hard to figure that out.
A kois ala kumo.
Yeah, you could. No, yeah, well,
If
it's
less
not.
than four- if it's less than four,
We don't, to make, you need two things. We don't say doif and a kuma plus to bring up the thing. Usually it's very high up.
yeah, you can't do both together.
You can't do both together.
Yeah.
So which will mean that that area is not kosher.
Not kosher.
Because the rules there don't count.
I have a few people in my neighborhood. Every year they have to hire someone to come and cut down. It's very expensive, but
Get rid of the tree.
Well, when I said one guy it tells me it's his neighbor. So the first year he moved in, his neighbor said, "I'm going to sue you." Then just sue me because he looked up an ordinance. He's allowed to cut it off. It's hanging in. The next guy said to him, the next year he said, "I'm taking it in Torah." So he called me up. I said, "Pi halacha, it's hanging to yours. You have a right to cut it off."
I once looked at the city code, and that is the fact.
The fact that the code is you're allowed to cut it off.
If you don't damage it, you can cut it.
Yes, you should start. You don't damage, just cut off the thing.
Think about wine again, right? Can you make kiddush, like the kiddush without making it out of the sukkah?
I mean, you have to make kiddush in the sukkah. I mean,
Could you make it out of the sukkah? Could you drink it? What's
no, kiddush you always have to make in the sukkah unless it's raining or whatever. You have to make kiddush because kiddush is the kviyas suda. You have to eat a suda in the sukkah when you make. You have to make ain't kiddush elimokim suda. So you have to.
So I have a question. We were talking about the trees. Like in our sukkah this year, this area right here, like, we have a eucalyptus tree, so it's very high up. But if you look straight up, there's a little portion here, which is probably under the tree. So would this area be not?
That should be a problem. It's very hard. I went to people's houses. It's very hard to figure out if there's more sun than shade or shade than sun.
In that area.
That area.
It's so high up. It
Doesn't make a difference.
It doesn't impact.
It doesn't make a difference.
It's just whatever is straight up.
Straight up.
That area, but the rest of the area
It's
is
okay, right?
Yeah.
So could it be a certain time of the day?
No.
As long as there is.
There is
some time
long,
that it's not.
right? Then it's no good.
Was that?
He wants to know. Let's say in the afternoon, the sun beats right into there. That doesn't help.
It's when the sun will be right over.
Right above it.
No, he says it needs to be all the time.
Right. That means right.
The worst is when the sun is right over it.
Mention the chandelier. What about, say, a string of lights? Simple lights, but my concern is the wire itself.
String of lights is so small that's not a problem. That doesn't cause. That's so little. But we're talking about big.
The wire is going to be.
Yeah, that's not a problem. That's so little. I've watched the string of lights in people's sukkah. That's very low. I'm not a fan of it because it's used for the Xmas and they bring in the sukkah, so I'm not a big fan of that. Can't say it's asa, but it's manufactured for Xmas.
Oh, but today they have a million different types of wire.
Not trees like during the year.
They have lighting, yeah? Okay. All right. Have a great Yom Tov and a great kosher sukkah.